You're listening to my WorldNet Daily exclusive audio article. Today's WorldNet Daily exclusive audio article is entitled, Will Natural COVID Immunity Be Reflected on the Vaccine Passport? The COVID vaccination is front and center on most Americans' minds, whether or not to get it. But it's not just the vaccine itself. It's not even whether the various vaccines are safe, and they appear to be for the vast majority of the population. Still, many would opt out and not get the vaccine given the choice. And that brings us to the elephant in the room, the so-called vaccine passport. To that, I was watching a very interesting and informative video by Dr. Suneel Dhand recently. He practices medicine, as he puts it, on the East Coast of the United States, although he didn't say where specifically. I narrowed it down to a few places in Massachusetts. In addition to his practice in internal medicine, he is also a writer, speaker, and personal trainer. Dr. Dhand is an advocate for vaccines in general and encourages all his patients to get various proven vaccines, so he is clearly not an anti-vaxxer. He says he is a student of history, particularly of vaccines like smallpox, polio, and others, which have virtually eradicated such diseases. The doctor then goes on to explain something that has received little to no press. He discovered very early last year that he contracted the COVID-19 virus. At the time, he just thought it was a mild viral infection. It turns out that after he had had a blood antibody serum test in May of 2020, in fact, he had contracted COVID-19. The test revealed what's called a positive IgG. This is important. The IgG shows that the doctor, by fighting the virus naturally, produced high levels of protective antibodies that prevent him from recontracting COVID-19. Now, the jury is out on just how long the various vaccines will protect people from contracting COVID. Already there appear to be indications that they may be no more effective than a flu shot, meaning one may have to get a COVID shot every year or possibly more often than that. However, over a year after the doctor contracted COVID and developed his own IgG antibodies naturally, his blood serum tests are still coming back positive with high levels of these protective antibodies. And herein lies a dilemma for the good doctor and probably many thousands or much more of us out there. All efforts regarding COVID have concentrated only on risk minimization. Wearing masks, social distancing, shutting down, locking down, and in some cases nothing short of police states, and of course the development and administering of the vaccine. No effort has been expended to discover who has developed these natural IgG positive antibodies, despite the fact that naturally occurring antibodies are much more effective against virus and disease than any vaccine. In fact, last year I attempted to get a serum antibody test and was flatly denied, yet I could get PCR swab tests all day, every day. And there's another potential problem that the good doctor posits. If one already has these IgG positive antibodies protecting them and receives the vaccine, there is a potential that they can develop hyperimmunity. Hyperimmunity or hyperimmune response can cause an otherwise healthy immune system to go into overdrive. A normal healthy immune system defends the body against disease and infection. But if the immune system malfunction, as in developing hyperimmunity, it may mistakenly attack healthy cells, tissues, and organs. Called autoimmune disease, these attacks can affect any part of the body, weakening bodily function and even turning life-threatening. The problem with this is that they can't know until after the vaccine is administered, and then it's too late. Is this just something the Faucian experts are content to overlook in their zeal to thrust the vaccine on everyone, need it or not? And then there's one more extremely valid point Dr. Dhand raises. He, by means of several IgG-positive tests over more than a year span, has proven that he retains the immunity necessary to stave off the COVID-19 virus. His question is then, if a vaccine passport does become a requirement, will his natural immunity be reflected on the passport, Or will he still have to get the unneeded and perhaps life-threatening vaccine despite the risk of developing hyperimmunity? I suspect we already know the answer. Thank you for listening.